Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I am doing the second installment of my little animal alphabet series that I have just started. Now, I made this challenge years ago and I just never got around to it. And you know what? This is the year. So we've already done emu number 5. So we're going to go over here on my little spinner and remove it and see what we're going to get in today's video. Have it, Capybara. I will link my previous video that explains it more up at the top and down below. So I hopped on my phone on my way to go get my little guy from ABA therapy, and I saw this and almost immediately, and I thought it was so cute. I had to draw it in my own style. So here we are wobbling in the car, and I got the little sketch done. Wobble, wobble. Now I'm back home another day, and we are going to color this in. These gorgeous Shuttle Art markers were a birthday gift from my husband. Thank you very much, my love. I absolutely love these markers. We're going to be using them again, and this time on cold press watercolor paper. Now, I explained my experience with using markers on watercolor paper in my previous video also, but basically I don't know why I didn't do it before. So here we are, choosing my colors for my little project, and I'm going to start with these 3. Now, I never thought of using acrylic paint markers on watercolor paper until recently, and I have to say, you guys, I'm sorry I'm repeating from other videos. However, I absolutely love it, and you guys are going to be seeing this more. Watercolor paper absorbs the moisture beautifully, and I personally love it. It feels nice. The paper doesn't ball up. It doesn't get all gross, and it doesn't get all wet and curls up and ugh, whatever. Highly recommend. If you haven't tried it, go try it. So yes, I also say this in all of my videos. It is normal for acrylic paint pens to streak. It doesn't really matter the brand. You usually need to layer up anywhere from 2 to 4 layers, depending on the brand, depending on the color, and depending on the paper you are using. So we're going to let this dry. It's perfectly normal that it's streaky. We are going to be layering up. So if I'm annoying you, stop watching my videos, because who knows, this might be the first video you watch, it might be the only video you watch. So yes, multiple layers. I've actually taken to going in the opposite direction to make my whole thing more smooth instead of always going in the same direction. So here we are with just a couple layers. Look at the difference, you guys. That yucky streakiness already gone. So I'm finally starting to block in the colors, and it's really cute. It's so funny. I love how chubby it is. I'm loving how it's turning out. Now I'm going to be posting this guy available over on my website when it's done. All my prices are in Canadian, so if you're an American buying it, check the exchange rate. You're gonna get a steal of a deal. Anyways, these are the colors I'm gonna go with for my little citrus fruit inside the drink. But first, I've got some business to attend to. So now that my tummy is full, I finished my illustration and I used these 11 colors to do it. I absolutely love these markers and I love using them on watercolor paper. So for my last little finishing touch, I whipped out my Copic markers, made a little mess, of course, and I did a nice little outline. I love doing bright little outlines, and I find it particularly brought this piece together. If you want to become a collector, I will link it down to my website at a nice affordable price for you to have a sweet little 4x6-inch illustration of a chubby capybara. So that brings me to a conclusion for this illustration, but we're going to fast forward to another day to some more capybara love. So about a year ago, I started this little challenge for myself, but I actually initially started the challenge a long time ago, but I actually started tackling it maybe a year, if not more ago. And I actually did do this capybara. It's a marker mixed media piece. I really love the little watermelon here. Okay, I used some Molotow paint markers, but over here I actually used some Tombow paint markers. I didn't like how they reacted with my marker paper. It balled up a little bit, but I was really happy that I used water-based markers and acrylic paint markers. But over on this side, I actually have a bunch of capybara sketches I never got to. So I'm like, you know what? This video is the perfect excuse for more capybara love. And I'm just going to finally get to these illustrations. So obviously this won't be available for purchase, but this is just for me in my sketchbook, and you guys get to see some of my process, and I'm finally glad that I'm completing this project. Now, first things first, I absolutely have to put this sheet so I don't ruin my illustration because I'm going to be using alcohol markers and they definitely bleed through. Now, I have a big, hefty, gorgeous collection here. It's not mine, it's my daughter's, but I'm borrowing them, so thank you, darling. We're going to start off with these two colors, and I want two different colored capybaras, and we are just going to color these in, and I'm going to explore her alcohol markers. I don't use them very often, but when I do, I always ask myself, why don't I do it more often? Yes, it's super common for alcohol markers to also be streaky. Markers are a streaky medium, but there are workarounds. You can layer up, kind of like what I did here under the arm. Darker colors, you don't notice the streakiness as much, but I'm gonna go in with some colored pencil. So the only illustration I have left for the base coat is the bamboo, but what I decided to start doing is color swatching the colors as I go, and I'm so happy I did that. I want to remember what colors. I really like the colors that I'm using for the capybaras, and I'm happy with how this spread is turning out, so that way it becomes a reference point. So believe it or not, I'm going to be using a fluorescent yellow for the bright side, for the source of light, and it looks really obnoxious right now, but you guys will see. Layer, 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 and it'll change things up. So now I have a base layer working on almost all my illustrations. So happy that I decided to color swatch the markers that I'm using. It just kind of adds to the vibe. But the best part, the most fun part, is putting colored pencil over top. So I have all kinds of colored pencils, but I always go back to these 12 little sets. They're just so easy to grab. And I'm going to just sift through, pick my favorite colors, and see what best matches the markers. For those of you who don't know, I work very fragmentedly. That's why my videos take a long time, because I have 3 neurodivergent kids and my last one doesn't always nap. So here we are another day, and I did start to swatch my colored pencils. You guys can see the smaller swatches, and I'm probably going to be making a legend over on the left side of the paper. Everything is coming along, but it's not quite done, and I have all the crayons and markers from a previous day, so I already have everything picked out. I just need to sit down and finally finish my project. I often have a hard time finishing my stuff, but today's the day. We're going to tackle as much as we can over here. Of course, all the capybaras have to have blush. I really enjoyed coloring this so much that I'm going to put in some footage so you guys can have a little artist ASMR enjoyment session, hearing my crayon drag across the paper. Because this guy takes up so much space in the spread, I was nervous to put the extra little brown details that I did in the little guy, and I really went back and forth to know if I was going to do it. But you know what? The more I did it, the happier I got. I'm so happy with how this is turning out. At this point, I only have a few little more details. I'm trying not to be a perfectionist, but I have a few more details I want to add just on the little flowers here, the little purple flowers, and this big guy over here. I kept hesitating, like I said, because he's so big, but I just wanted to add in a little bit more. So I'm actually going to get my little 12 set of polychromos. I'm going to get the right shade of purple, and then we're pretty much done after this. So here are all the markers that I used, and then in the next slide, you guys are going to see all the colored pencils I used. You like that noise? Oh dear. So I finally did it. I did a little legend. and I put all the colored pencils and all the names and all the little codes, what kind, so if I ever want to look back and reference or redraw one of these characters, I can do so because I actually really like how everything turned out and I'm very pleased. I didn't do any swatches for the markers so it didn't bleed over, but other than that, the colored pencils, I did the swatches. I am so happy with how this turned out. So excited I finally did it. I like so many different things. I like that I used different colors for the capybaras. These two are darker than the big guy. I'm just so happy that I really explored and tried so many different things. Now I'm going to add in a little bit of dark fur. I wasn't going to. I was going to call it done, but it was just bothering me. So I wanted to add in these little extra flecks, and I'm so glad that I did. Okay, I keep saying it's done, but for real, it's done. I love the whole spread. It makes me happy, and it was a little personal project. I'm glad it's done, but I enjoyed myself along the way. So happy I did a little swatch burst everywhere. I'm going to be doing that more. Highly recommend you guys do that too, but it's actually a personal choice. I love how my bamboos turned out. I'm very pleased with how they look. Even though this is a capybara spread, love the bamboo. I actually really love this little guy. It's so cute. And like I said, I like that I use different colors for the capybaras. I love the expressions. I'm really happy that I finally did this. I love that I put a little bit of pink and a little bit of blush on all of them. I'm glad I put some little fruit because obviously that's what they eat. I'm happy with how my little orange turned out. I really love this patch of grass. I'm really surprised how it turned out. All the layers, super pleased. It's normal that you see the little shinies because of some blooms that happen from the colored pencils, but I'm actually surprised how much I like that little burst of flowers. I love this little watermelon. I'm going to do this more. I'm really happy with the little shadow that I did for both of them too. So a lot of this was playing and exploring, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to use this more in my sketches. That's the whole point of your sketchbook. It's for you. It's to learn. It's to explore. It's to have fun. And I really had fun. So did you guys end up having a favorite capybara? And do you have any names for these guys? I would love to hear your name suggestions, and I might just go back and use some of them. So check back for that because I think that would be a fun thing for us to do together and incorporate it together. If you guys have never done these little swatch blobs, do it. Tag me on Instagram. If my video has inspired you in any way, shape, or form, please feel free to message me and tag me on Instagram. Now remember, if you want to have this little guy or my little emu from the previous video or any other ones from my little alphabet series, I will be selling them nice, affordable prices. So go on my website, and I hope I see you guys in the next video. Bye, everyone.